Connor Brandt, Minnesota native. Started center, Shopsell and Rattray flanking her. Keller, Liz Sheppers, and her line going to start with McQuigg and Caitlin O'Donohue making her PWHL debut here tonight. Flaherty, Channel Watkins on defense, and Nicole Hensley is going to start in goal.
Yeah, Nicole Hensley getting the start here today. Maddie Rooney under the weather, so not in the lineup today. Minnesota signed Lucy Morgan to a 10-day contract to back up Nicole Hensley tonight, but Coach Ken Clee told us it was probably going to be Hensley either way tonight. And on the other side of the ice, Frankel, who's already seen Minnesota once this season, gets the start for Boston.
First puck drop of 2025, and here we go, and it's only fitting we start the second calendar year of this league with the two teams who met in the finals last season, Central Fork. There are no secrets between these two teams.
There is not. We talked to Coach Courtney Kessel about this quote-unquote rivalry, and she said, you know, there's really no rivalries in this league, or in other words, there's rivalries with everybody. Because there's only 6 teams, you kind of dislike everybody the same. But of course, fans of these two teams know how intense this matchup has been over the last year and a half here, especially coming off of that Walter Cup Finals matchup.
Play here in the Boston zone. Minnesota holding it in with Channel Watkins on the left point. Now Peshova gets control ahead at center. It was Shea Maloney that was trying to advance. It was knocked back to neutral ice. As we're just getting started. Only game in the league tonight. Boston and Minnesota. Shishaba is going to slide it in. It's being offside.
Called off goal by Sophie Jakeson. Overtime, and then Alina Mueller wins it seconds later. We go to game 5, and Minnesota locks it down in Boston to secure the cup. And what a fun series that was. Looking forward to the matchups between these two teams this year. Already the second time they've seen each other.
Steckline sends it toward the net. Out in front was Curl trying to tip it past. Now Shishaba will cycle it back. Roberta Curl, she fires it to the point. Nobody home for Minnesota. And it comes all the way back down.
You know, talking to Coach Kessel about the rivalry here between these two teams, if you want to call it that, she was talking about how they play such different styles of games, and because of that, it's harder to form that rivalry. It's just a matter of who's more committed to sticking to their game. That's usually the team who wins, she says.
There's Panic moving toward the net, slides off her stick, got it back. Now plays it to the point. Thompson a drive. Rebound. Panic trying to settle it down out in front of the goal mouth. And Boston is able to get it out of the zone.
Nice drive by Thompson from the point, and Panic, that puck just out of her reach in the slot. Couldn't find a way to pull the trigger, but a good opportunity there for Minnesota, looking for the first goal of the game. They've scored first in all but one game so far this season.
Yeah, not uncommon to see Minnesota with good early pressure in hockey games. Here's Keller, long shot from the right point, steered away by Nicole Hensley, who is well rested. First start since December 22nd at New York. Wasn't her best effort that night, but her first win of the season. And had several big saves in that overtime. Now here comes Coyne Schofield. Minnesota's offside. No points this year. Looking to break out here tonight, Alexa.
And that's why I picked her as the player to watch. Sometimes you watch a player because they're on a roll. Sometimes you keep an eye on because they're bound to get on a roll. And that's the case here with Alina Mueller. The reason I picked her, 4 for 11 points last year were against Minnesota. And her two playoff goals last year came both against Minnesota. So she likes to play against this team. Maybe this is finally that game where she finds a way to break out. And fans who watched the last matchup between these teams remember she was injured in that game. Flaherty suspended for the hit on Alina Mueller. She did miss one matchup after that, but back in the lineup, has played 5 of 6 games and just looking to get started here this season.
Magia hands it off. Pelkey tried to get a shot on. Good back check by Minnesota. And the cross able to clear as Flaherty got down on the ice to block it. Now a drive by Sheppers that whistles wide for Minnesota. Trying to wrap it around his Curl. Ricochets out to Steckline. Now a wrist shot from Batherson. Nate Batherson sends it off the end boards. And now it comes to the stick of Hillary Knight. She'll shovel it up and out. Always fun to watch Hillary Knight, the Boston captain. Scored the only Boston goal on Monday in that loss to the Big 12. Said it before, team-high 3 goals. Here's a chance now in front for Minnesota. Again, Zumwinkle was cruising in, and we're going to get our first penalty of the hockey games. Minnesota's going to get a power play. Sydney Bard is the rookie out of Colgate, called for tripping.
And Minnesota's vaunted power play, now an opportunity to strike first. They've got 2 of the first 3 shots of the night here. Got 4 power play goals on the season, 4 different power play goal scorers played. See if they can get it done here.
A minor penalty has been assessed to number 15, Sydney
This
Bard.
power play brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel Paper Towel. Power through the fight.
Time of the penalty, 3:50.
Special teams going to work here for both sides. 2 of the best in the league. And now Zumwinkle coming through the middle. She'll pull up. Hands off for Shisheva. Curl. Sticked away by Rattray. Keller gets it now on the penalty kill for Boston. And Brandt will slide it out of the zone. 15 to go in this first power play of the night. Zumwinkle, Heisey, Panic, all at power play goals. Heisey not in the lineup tonight. And Petrie has the other one. Of course, she's on long-term IR. Steck line, holding that blue line. Kava now. Kind of misfired on a pass down low, and it's intercepted by Boston. And they'll buy some time. 45 seconds to go in this first advantage. Well, you get up around 30% on the power play. It's pretty impressive. That's where Minnesota's clicking. Trying to get some pressure here before it's too late. Under a half minute to go. Kava on the half wall, slides it to the middle. Here's a chance down low, and it's tipped just wide. Panic on the backhand, feeds it back for the front, but nobody there.
Well, Kendall Coyne-Schofield was trying to tip that into the net from between her legs. Nifty idea there, and then a second opportunity on the side of the net. And Minnesota, I like the setup and the chance there, but just can't find the back of the net.
Final rush here for Minnesota. Katie Knoll brought it in, but quickly spun out of the zone by Boston. So Minnesota comes up empty on the power play. They get 1 shot on goal officially. Past the 6-minute mark now, period number 1. As we remain scoreless. Minnesota will dump it Chase. Jumping out of here is DiGirolamo, the former Syracuse captain. That's out of the reach of Hillary. She gets it back and then plays it in deep. Minnesota rolls it around to the far wing side. Held in on the left point, trying to tip it in. Out in front, that was Susanna Tapani, the former Minnesota Frost player, looking to regain her scoring touch too. Was traded for Minnesota last February.
And Jakes, who Minnesota received in the trade on long-term injured reserve, so not in the lineup here tonight.
Well, a good start for Minnesota, getting some pressure. And a scoring chance on that power play. No goals, though, so far. Boston, Minnesota played a good one here in St. Paul tonight. About 6.5 minutes in, no score between Boston and Minnesota. Let's check in with Katie Storm.
Play Frost rookie Claire Thompson is adjusting just fine to the PWHL. She leads the league in assists, but it's really her 200-foot play that stands out to head coach Ken Klee. He knew she was an elite player coming into the year. He expected her to bring what she has on the offensive end, but at a time like this, especially with so many players out of the lineup, it's her defense that they've been working on and relying on. And a positive there is that she's so coachable. She wants to get better. Coach Klee told me what he's seeing is a player that's willing to make mistakes and learn quickly from them. And guys, it's paying off. She's provided a huge boost from the blue line.
Yeah, Ken is notorious for saying, hey, you don't play D, you're going to take minuses in this league. And, you know, Thompson is learning how to be a really good 200-foot player at this level. Off to a great start this season. Peering from her net, Nicole Hensley watching it off to her left, and here comes Minnesota out of its own zone. At center, Shanna Watkins will drive it in. Out of her net is Frankel. Frankel, really good numbers in net this year, Alexis, despite being upside down in win-loss. but third best save percentage of goals against of about 2.2. Really not bad.
Yeah, she was third in both save percentage and goals against categories last season at the end of the year, and much of the same this year. The record doesn't match the way she's performed in between the pipes, and Coach Courtney Kessel said that's kind of down to the team, turning the puck over too much, giving up way too many chances, forcing her to have to make those saves.
Babstock gets it to the blue line. Girolamo keeps it in. This is Agia. Let's see Agia. Came from Ottawa before the trade deadline last year. She's number 88 in white. That's some of her best work right out in front of the net. All the way back down to the Boston end now. Overskated. O'Donoghue flips it out in front. Nobody was there for Minnesota, but Caitlin O'Donoghue would like to make a big statement here tonight in her first pro game. Great opportunity for some players tonight for Minnesota as we've got so many stars either sick or hurt.
Absolutely. That's the pretty much only silver lining to players being out of the lineup, is that there's opportunities for either players who don't normally get those chances or players who are getting their first opportunities to have some time on the ice and maybe make a difference, and you never know when that chance is going to come or if you're going to get it again. So it's always exciting when those kind of players are able to step up and make an impact in the game.
Rattray stood up at the blue line, the veteran pro. And now another penalty. And this one, I think, is going against Minnesota. Britta Curl threw a check right in front of the official. And it is going to be a penalty against Minnesota.
2 minutes for a roughing.
And you know, this kind of circles back to our conversation with Coach Kessel about the different styles of play. Boston likes to play physical, Minnesota likes to play fast, and that's kind of been the story between these two teams since the inception of this league. And as I mentioned earlier, Coach Kessel said the team that sticks to their game is the team that often wins. If Minnesota can pull Boston into trying to play a fast game, or Boston can try to pull Minnesota into playing a physical game, that will really change things here. And Minnesota takes a roughing penalty, giving Boston a chance on the power play.
Here's the rookie Bilka.
At 9:01.
He's been a star here in the early part of the season. Takes the first shot on the power play, handled by Hensley. Long rebound comes out. There's Bilka again. She'll throw it down below the end line. Tapani, Bilka, across. Keller, Bilka down low, backhand, that hit the pipe for Knight. That drew iron for Hillary Knight. It stays scoreless.
Great setup there by Boston. They've got 4 power play goals on the season, just like Minnesota, and had a good look with that first unit there, forcing Nicole Hensley to stay on her toes.
Second best power play in the league behind Minnesota. They scored 2 power play goals at Toronto last Friday, did the Fleet. Minnesota trying to ram it out of the zone. Enough pressure put on that puck, and it bounces out. Boston will have to regroup. For a minute gone by on this advantage for the Fleet, their first power play. Morin will drive it in. Karam's off the far wall, comes in behind the net. Overskating it a bit, Sophie Shirley, former Wisconsin Badger. Bouncing puck in the corner. Minnesota's going to get to it. Himralova trying to get it out of the zone. Can't. Take it back by Boston. They'll try to set up again. Just over a half minute to go on this power play. There's a drive by Peshova, and it's knocked down and cleared out of the zone. Boy, Flaherty took the brunt of that puck, and she took it like a champ.
She ate that puck and then hustled to the bench to get off to get the next penalty-killing unit on there, and that's what you need. That's what you love to see as a coach, as a goaltender, the players in front of you, making those selfless plays. Big block by Megan Flaherty. Sometimes you're kind of stretching away from it a little bit, and you catch just a piece of it. That thing, she caught all of it, and was able to help clear that one down the ice for Minnesota.
Liz Shepherds wins that draw for the Frost and gets a shot for Thompson. That's saved. 2 shots on that power play.
Thanks to Trina.
Back to 5-on-5. Minnesota. It's Curl out of the box. 8:50 to go in the first period. Still looking for a first goal of the hockey game. And behind Hensley, Thompson up on the dasher momentarily. Frost trying to clear, and it's ramped up out of play with the plexiglass. All right, we're going to step aside here at the XL Energy Center in St. Paul. Pretty good action here so far in this game in the PWHL between Boston and Minnesota.
between Minnesota and Boston in the first period. Welcome back to the XL Energy Center. Joined by Courtney Kessler here, head coach of Boston, and we've seen the special teams in action early. Still a scoreless game. What's your read on this one so far?
Yeah, I think we got to get more pucks to the net somehow and generate a little bit more offense.
All right, Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
Clay?
All right, Katie, thank you. They need points tonight. Courtney made that pretty clear. You know, a lot of season left, but told the team just to keep it simple. Don't overthink it. That's what she kind of fears they've been doing. Minnesota intercepts, gets it back out to center, and Zumwinkle will slide it in. Now, there is just a fifth of the season gone by. It's a 30-game schedule this year, but still, it's a quick season. Now, there is time to make it up, but again, when you're only playing 30 games, you can't let losing streaks get too long.
We talked to Coach Kessel about that, and you could kind of tell in her body language that she was on the fence about feeling like it was dire and feeling like there was a lot of time. And she talked about how quickly things can change in this league, and so it's really never too late until it is. But for now, there's a lot of time left for Boston to turn this season around. And as you talked about, Clay, they've got the pieces. It's a matter of putting them all together.
Minnesota comes in onside, flipping it toward the net. Zumwinkle blocked in front. Gia comes back with speed, sets up Pesky and drive. Blocker saved by Hensley. Didn't see her own rebound. It's out there, but nobody for Boston to take advantage. Now Thompson weaving through center. She'll drop it back. Shot knocked down by Emily Brown, who grew up in Blaine down the road. 8th round pick last year out of the University of Minnesota. Ahead Thompson. Good back check there by Peyshova. Daniela Peyshova, 2nd round pick, 7th overall. Now Shopsall kept it low to the ice. Hensley tried to pick it. Couldn't glove it. Hannah Brandt holds it in. Down in the circle. Peyshova drives. Save Hensley, and she'll pounce.
There's really been great chances on both sides of the ice today. Each team with a couple really good looks. And Peyshova, one of the newbies on this team, gets a decent look. There's another look at that Pelkey chance. And here's a look at that Peyshova shot. And Hensley, kind of a tough save up in the shoulder area. Those are tough for goaltenders because you're almost always going to have that puck drop down in front of you. Then you got to be the first to it to cover it up or to sweep it away. It's not always as easy of a save as it may look. And Boston coming close to taking that 1-goal lead.
Shots by 4 in favor of Boston right now. Grant muscled off the puck by Flaherty. Nice job by Flaherty. He slams it off the side wall, and it's to come all the way back down. This will be an icing bill against Minnesota.
A lot of opportunities here on the Frost roster right now to make some some big chances.
You can see why Greg Fargo didn't lose many games at Colgate. I mean, so many great players that he had. There's Sidney Bard, we're seeing here tonight for Boston. Daniel Serdachny played for Colgate as well. Those players, of course, Greg Fargo, all in the PWHL now. 3:20 to go. First period. Really good action so far. Just nothing for either team to show for it. Now coming in here, Minnesota with a chance, a shot. Save made as Brooke Bryant gets 3 points in her last 4 games with a bid here late in the first period.
And Boston, as I talked about earlier, they've got 3 instances this season where they've scored the first goal, but they only have 3 first-period goals. They do more of their scoring later on in the game, so they've got a lot of 0-0 ties coming out of that first period. Minnesota, on the other hand, has 7 first-period goals. They score pretty evenly across all 3 periods. Kind of surprised we haven't seen a goal yet, just because we've seen some really good chances.
Minnesota 3.7 goals per game. That's best in the league. Tend to get out to good starts, but nothing so far. Picked off at center by Channel Watkins. Played it ahead to Bryant. Bryant works it into the zone. Curl goes for it. Takes a bump there from Shane Maloney. Rookie out of McHenry, Illinois. They battle for it along the dasher. Kick to the top of the circle. Maloney tried to advance it. And juggled it a bit. Back out at center. Minnesota gets it back into the Boston zone where Brown will rifle it back out. Now Mueller through center. That's always dangerous for the opponent. Drop back for Tapani. Back for Mueller. Tapani! Oh, and she carried it past the net. Great passing there back and forth between those two stars. And now Hillary Knight out in front. She'll chase it down in the corner. Plays it up for Peyshova. Peyshova waits. Oh, tipping it wide was Tapani. Good pressure here by the Fleet. Now on the backhand flipped out in front. Intercepted. And Minnesota will finally be able to come up for air.
There was one failed clear attempt that got a little messy for Minnesota that just snowballed into the rest of that sequence for the Fleet. And that's how quickly one mistake can create so many problems for you. And the Fleet put on some good pressure, throw a couple pucks toward the net, but we still sit scoreless with a minute and a half to go in the period. And
that's exactly what Courtney Kessel's been talking about. You know, just let the stars play, keep it simple, good passing near the net. And there's another drive right on for Knight. Hensley equal to the task. And in 12 seconds to go, we're going to get an icing call. There's still over a minute to go in the opening period. Shallow angle drive off the side of the net.
1 minute remaining in the period. 1 minute.
Ginny Lee Rattray, veteran, gold medal with Canada in 2022. Pad save, Hemsley. Rattray again, beats it to the point. DiGirolamo will wrap it around. Bard holds it in deep. 40 seconds to go in the opening period.
Feels like Minnesota's just trying to survive right now. Good pressure by the Fleet late in this period.
Patterson gains control. Now will get it up and out of the zone with 20 seconds to go in the first. Shoveled toward the goaltender, over and out of the reach of Frankel. Boston has it at neutral. Knight beats a pass across. Agia tracks it down. 9 seconds to go in the period. Cycled around behind for Tapani. Tapani looking for support. She'll feed it back along the near wing side. Greco takes a check, and that's going to do it. In a scoreless first, but great action, scoring chances for both sides, but definitely Boston carried the play there late, Alexis.
Sometimes you're relieved when the period ends, and sometimes you're wishing for just 30 more seconds, and that was the case, I'm sure, for Boston at the end of this period. That momentum started to shift. The last 2 minutes or so, Boston was cycling the puck well. They were getting opportunities. It felt like Minnesota was a little flustered in their own end late in that period, but Frost come out unscathed. We sit 0-0 after 1 period of play.
As they're in last place, 2-4 on the year. Minnesota comes in 4-2 with one of those losses in overtime.
And there's still so much time left in the season, so I don't want to describe Boston's energy as needing to be desperate, but there is something to be said about playing a desperate style of we need to get something going, we need to find ways to get points, and Coach Courtney Kessel talked a lot about what 3 points would do for them. A regulation win. They're on such a long road trip here. They've got the trek over to Seattle mixed in this 6-game road trip. So a lot of fun to be had on this road trip as a team, a lot of opportunities to grow and become a better team. But at some point, that needs to show in the way you're collecting points. And Boston could really, really use a regulation win here today against the Minnesota Frost.
Yeah, this is their 3rd of 6 straight road games. And they have yet to earn a point on the road this season. Get some points here tonight would be huge. As Boston tries to get it back out of the zone, and they do at center. Thompson wheels it right back in. It'll bounce over to the far wing corner. Keller plays it ahead. Here comes Boston. Tapani. Lead pass. Bilka trying to settle it down from the corner. Tried to send it toward the net. Karam's in behind. Now Knight supporting the puck. He's checked away. And Kelly Panic will come back the other way. Panic 4 points in the last 4 games. She's got it on her backhand, flips it toward the front. Kava was knifing in on the near wing, but that play never materialized.
Panic didn't have much space to work with there on her backhand, kind of being forced outside the slot area, so she did good just to try to throw that one towards the crease. It just never got there.
Jessica DiGirolamo Gets it in to the Minnesota end. Boston trying to set something up here. Bard will fire it off the wall. Rolls in behind for Brandt. She'll poke it along. DiGirolamo comes in and pushes it down deep. Loose behind the cage. Looking for the front. Trying to set something up there was Teresa Schafsall. She was driven to the outside. And now Minnesota's able to muscle it out. Katie Knoll doing the honors. Got it ahead. And now Minnesota's going to be called for a penalty here. They got a penalty at the 2-minute mark of the period. And let's see what it is. No, it's on Boston.
Hannah Brandt, Minnesota native, will head to the box. Here's another look at the penalty. Boston likes to play physical. This one just a little too physical, and the problem is she doesn't let her go. The initial shove probably would have gone, unnoticed, but it's the extra pushing and shoving after the play that sent her to the box. So Hannah Brandt will sit, and Minnesota will have another chance here on the power play.
And Katie Knoll was certainly physical there too. I mean,
you could have said both, probably.
Yeah, you conceivably could have had the matching minors out in front. Loose McQuigg right there on the doorstep. Had a chance for Minnesota as they go to work on their second power play. This power play brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel Paper Towel. Thompson scrambles back for it. Minnesota zone. Already 30 seconds gone by on this advantage. Denisa Shishiba comes in, and that's going to be offside on Minnesota. Of course, one of their big power play stars, Taylor Heisey, out of the lineup tonight. She's under the weather, so they're certainly missing her. As they come in, panic. Shot roll off her stick to the corner, and now has to take it away. Boston tries to clear, but Maloney fanned on a clearing attempt. Loose in the circle. Boston able to get it out. 50 seconds to go in this advantage for Minnesota. Point Schofield. Lead pass. Taken away at center by Tapani. Tapani, great job playing keep away. She'll dump it in. Deep into the Boston zone, so they'll keep it off the Minnesota sticks for a moment. Now take it back here. Shishiba gets it to the point. Comes across for Batherson. Batherson, Thompson. Thompson a drive over the top of the net. Goes off the plexiglass. 10 seconds to go in the penalty time. Mueller can't clear. Thompson, another shot that's knocked down by Alina Mueller. And Boston's able to kick it out of the zone. Great penalty kill by Boston. Minnesota gets just one shot on.
What a great play by Mueller. She gets in front of that shot, blocks it. You can tell it stung a little bit, and she still has the wherewithal to get her stick on the puck and clear that puck out of the zone. That's not an easy play to make, or not an easy situation to be in, and she's able to clear that puck out for the Fleet.
And even though she doesn't have a scoring touch right now, she's finding ways to help her team as she tries to break out. She was a +7 last year, a -6 coming in this game this season, so very atypical of Alina Mueller, the way it's going right now for her. Babstock stood up by Katie Knoll, rolls in behind the net. Agia now gets to it for Boston. Fleet can't hold it. There's Emily Brown again. They'll try one more time. Agia lost it on the half wall. Bouncing puck past the 5-minute mark of period number 1. Still 0-0. Channel Watkins pulls up. Looking to center. Again, everything kept to the outside by Boston tonight. I've been very impressed. Boston wins the draw. Back to Greco. That shot from the point. That got some of the pipe. Hensley dives out, and we'll get the whistle. Back in a moment.
We still sit scoreless here in St. Paul with under 14 minutes left in this second period between Minnesota and Boston. Welcome back, Hannah Brandt in action.
Tiger Towel power play, third of the night for Minnesota. 0 for 2 so far. This is the best power play in the league. There's a good centering pass, and McQuigg, the backhand right on, and it's kicked out of there by Frankel. And McQuigg making a bid for her second goal of the year. She scored her first career goal in the loss to Montreal on Saturday. Almost had a power play tally.
She was the number 2 star in that game, 2 shots on net, and as you mentioned, the first goal of her season. Good look there. She just couldn't really pull it to her forehand to get a better chance off, but Minnesota looking for the quick strike.
Boy, being pestered here. Bradshaw doing a great job. Boston shorthanded.
They don't have a shorthanded goal scored yet this season.
Coyne Schofield, maybe the fastest player on the ice, gets it ahead. Cava on the right wing, tries to feed the front. And that was booted. Back to Coyne Schofield. Now to bounce in on the goaltender. We get a whistle. 52 seconds to go in this Minnesota power play.
Here's another look at the feed by Shishova. And McQuigg just fires that backhander off and forcing Aaron Frankel to make a save. That was right at the start of that power play. So Minnesota trying to score quickly, but now already a minute plus gone by.
Patterson held to the outside by Maloney. Battle for it along the wall. Minnesota trying to hold the zone. Can't do it. As Amanda Pelkey gets it out for the Fleet. 35 seconds to go in this power play. Steckline will march it up the near wing side. The 30-year-old former Golden Gopher attacks the front. Steckline gets it back, and Cava sent it wide of the far pipe.
The defender generating some offense. Setting up Cava for the look.
10 seconds to go in the power play. Steckline again. Oh, weak pass to the middle. And it's intercepted, driven out of the zone. Officially one shot on for the Frost on that power play. So now 0 for 3 here tonight with the advantage.
That penalty kill percentage, which is 3rd in the league for Boston right now at 87% heading into this game, is going up by the second here in this one as they've now killed off 3.
How about Hensley looking like a first baseman, climbing the ladder to make sure there was no ugly bouncing puck out in front of the net.
Here's another look at that Cava chance on the power play, just sent wide. Kayla Cava tied for first on the team with 3 goals this season. She doesn't have a power play marker yet, almost got one there.
Tell you what, Cava loves playing Boston. 4 goals, 4 assists in the finals last year. Scored at Boston on the 4th of December. So 6 goals, 5 assists in 11 career games against Boston. I mean, that's impressive. That's domination against one opponent.
Isn't it funny how sports work and how a certain player can just stand out against any particular team for really no specific reason, just that they seem to always play well. And Michaela Cava.
Now look out. Coming in, another post. That was Channel Watkins now. Minnesota scores. Minnesota takes a 1-0 lead, and look who it is. Katie Knoll, who's been adjusting to the pace of the pro game. She gets Minnesota on the board with a big goal for her.
Her first goal in the PWHL. Another look at it. A bit of a delayed reaction by everybody on the ice and in the stands as well. And then the arm from the official. So Melissa Channel Watkins drives the net, puts Frankel in a tough spot, and then right through the 5-hole, that puck sneaks through. And Noble watches that one go in from the boards as she crashed into the end wall. Great overhead angle of this from Budarak also on front. Nobody really knew where that puck was, including Frankel. And Knoll able to find the back of the net.
It's now going to be Claire Budarak, not Knoll. It's the second of the year for Budarak. Channel Watkins is going to get the primary assist. It comes at 9:06. So Katie Knoll's going to have to wait for that first one. It sure looked like Katie had it. She was the one that started the celebration line, but it's going to be Budarak with her second of the year.
Well, she'll take the +1 on her
You
stat
bet.
sheet, and Claire Budarak will take the goal. That's now points in 2 consecutive games for Claire Budarak.
Minnesota hunting more. And they got it! Out in front! Brooke Bryant makes it quickly 2-0 Minnesota.
I said. And another look at it. Brooke Bryant cuts to the slot there. The shot from the circle. Kind of fanned on the shot a bit. It wasn't intended to go that way. Steckline did get everything on it, and Bryant finds this puck and sweeps it in. That's tough for a goaltender. Bryant had her back to the net. By the time she turned around and got that shot off, Frankel's still trying to trap where that puck is coming from. And Bryant finds a way to get it in the back of the net, her first of the season. And just like that, we went from asking for a goal, Clay, at one of our commercial breaks to getting two consecutively.
The hockey gods were listening, apparently.
We just wanted some scoring. We got it.
You've got a lot of pull, Alexis. I've always said that.
I'm a sweet talker, Clay. What can I say?
So Bryant now 4 points in her last 5 games in Minnesota. Another multi-goal game. Well, that's been their MO this season. The only team with multiple goals in every game in the PWHL. 2-0 Frost, 9.5 to go, second period.
And when Minnesota scores first, as you mentioned, all but one game, they only have one regulation loss in those instances. So they found ways to win when they get on the board first.
It's going to be scored Bryant from Steckline and Patterson at 9:49, and now walking in. A chance for Boston, but Pelkey can't bury it. Great save by Hensley.
Man, Pelkey's had some good looks here today, and in all alone against Nicole Hensley, Pelkey fires one, looking for her first goal of the season, and Hensley shuts the door.
Now Coyne Schofield flips it on. Save made with the blocker by Frankel. Good energy now in this game. Minnesota's opened up a 2-0 lead. Boston desperately now, we've used that word a few times tonight, as Curl gets hit hard in the circle, and this looks like a Boston penalty. Or did they just blow the whistle for an injury? Yeah, it is. Yeah, you get the sense that Minnesota knows. Amanda Kessel, or Courtney Kessel certainly knows. Desperation now. The Fleet have to score the next one, but they're shorthanded. All right, there is Kelly Babstock in the box for that cross-checking penalty as Minnesota goes on power play for the 4th time tonight. Another power play brought to us by Royale Tiger Towel Paper Towel. Minnesota had a couple of goals scored in 43 seconds. Now looking for another one on special teams. Curl turned away on the blocker by Hensley, or excuse me, by the goaltender Frankel. This one is kept in at the blue line by Thompson for Minnesota. O'Donohue. The rookie would like to make a splash here on the power play. First game tonight. Down low. Sent back to the point. Thompson moves in. Kind of sticked away. Thompson keeps it in the zone. Only 15 seconds to go in the advantage. Curl's feed to the back of the zone was intercepted. Boston will get fresh penalty killers on the ice.
And Boston's already reeling a little bit, giving up 2 goals in such quick succession, and a power play goal here by Minnesota could really flip this thing on its head if they can find a way to find the back of the net.
To the middle, Panic was looking for Kava, was broken up in the middle. Kava keeping it in the zone. Loose along the wall. Coyne Schofield comes into play. They're going to make something happen. 40 seconds on this power play for Minnesota. Steckline to the far side. Panic from the corner. Back for Steckline. Here's Mae Batherson now, a drive that's flicked up out of play. Go to the PWHL.com for tickets. We hope to see you at a game near you. 2-0 Minnesota. 4 minutes to go, second period. Minnesota with 2 goals, 43 seconds apart here in the middle frame. It's been a physical, tight checking game, just as it was when these two teams met about a month ago, December 4th in Lowell. Minnesota won it 2-1. We're seeing a similar style here tonight. Here's Shisheva coming in right wing, moving toward the middle. Good pass across, shot, save, rebound. Shisheva trying to pull the trigger again for Minnesota. Now a drive from Curl that was a muffled shot. And it bounces into the corner. And a penalty coming up here.
Yeah, the official in the zone who was nearest to it did call it. And the official at center ice did, so it'll be tripping against Minnesota's Britta Curl. And Boston with a grade A opportunity here.
Number 7, Minnesota. Minor penalty for a trip.
Yep. Kind of lifted that knee there a little bit. That was the indicator.
Yeah, Britta Curl's been on the committing or receiving end of most of the penalties here tonight.
All right, so second power play for the Fleet. 4 for 16 on the year. 26%.
A minor penalty has been assessed to Minnesota's number 77.
They desperately need a goal to get in this hockey game. Down 2.
For a trip. Time of the penalty.
There's Megan Keller.
43.
She's quarterbacking this power play for the Fleet. Drive right on.
Well, there's still so much time left in this game, but to me, this is one of those moments where you kind of got to have it. Boston needs to find a way to find the back of the net here. It's late in the period. You could really turn the tide here with a power play goal.
And Minnesota's penalty kill has been really good since the playoffs last year. That's when Ken Klee says that his penalty kill started looking the way he had it designed in his mind. And it's really been good ever since. Achia gets to it for Boston. Steckline got a stick on it momentarily for Minnesota. Now it's jammed up along that far wing side. Just over a minute to go in this advantage for the Fleet. Slides over to the near wing corner. Peyshova tried to get it. One of her teammates rolled off to the far wing side. Boston holding the zone. There's Peyshova. Alina Mueller now. Morin at the point. Back for Alina Mueller. Mueller, a drive, pad save by Hensler.
I don't know if she fully saw that one. She kind of kicked the pad out instinctually, but she had a couple players in the lane. She maybe caught a glimpse of it on the way in, but good save there late here in this power play for the Boston Fleet.
Peyshova dumps it in on an angle. Mueller holds it in deep. Thompson gets to it for Minnesota. Can't clear it. 15 seconds to go in this power play for Boston. And Minnesota again gets it to neutral ice. It's going to slide all the way back down to the Boston end. What a kill for Minnesota. I think that's going to do it. As Boston comes up empty, it stays 2-0 with a minute 15 seconds to go in the period.
That's a big one for Minnesota. Big point in this game, up 2 goals. It's been a battle of the penalty kills here today in this one.
Knight
steers it in behind the Minnesota net.
1 minute
Susanna Tapani, with under a minute to go in the period, tried to feed the middle. Minnesota takes it away. Melissa Channel gets to it, shovels it up. And now Minnesota walks it out. Shishova leading the charge. There's O'Donoghue. Looking to turn it toward the middle. Push to the outside nicely. DiGirolamo trying to get it back for Boston. This is McQuiggville. As Minnesota sets up, Bookbinder wrist shot. Saved by Aaron Frankel. Off to the corner. 25 seconds to go in the period. Bookbinder holds it in deep for the Frost. Loose puck in behind. Knight pounces on it. Boston trying to clear it. They get it to the line, but not out. Final 10 seconds of the second. Minnesota is going to take this second period. This is the kind of period they were looking for. Goals by Budarak and Bryant. Second of the year for Budarak, first of the year for Brooke Bryant. They come 43 seconds apart, midway stages of the second. And that's where we stand heading to the third. Well, Ken Klee told you and I before the game, really excited to actually see how his team responded tonight with so many stars out. Coming off that loss at Montreal on Monday. Good for a comeback here in the third as we're underway.
They do have 5 third-period goals on the season, though, which is more than any other period. So they do find ways to put the puck in the back of the net late in the game.
Hillary Knight swings it in behind. Steckline gets in the way for Minnesota, tries to get it out on the far wing side, kept in by Boston. Anna Pilka moving to the front, taking off her stick. This is Tapani now for the Fleet. Penalty box is empty. That slides in on Hensley, is able to steer it away.
It deflected on the way in, and Hensley able to react quickly enough to get a pad on that one. And I was just thinking Boston needs a quick one here, because if Minnesota carries on throughout this third period, still up 2 goals, they're going to smell blood in the water, and they're going to find a way to close this one out. Minnesota's too good of a team to let something like that slip away.
Some really good stuff. Online. Or you could get it at the arena too. Boston needs the next one. And trying to break out of their own zone. They slide it out to center. Quickly pumped back in on a backhand by Thompson.
And part of the problem for Boston is they're not even finding ways to force overtime in these situations. They're the only team in the league who hasn't played an overtime game yet. So when these games get in the late stages, and even if they're close, Boston is not finding ways to get points, even in losses, which is part of the reason they've fallen so far down the standings.
You know, but if there's ever a night to take advantage of Minnesota in the third, this might be it. As the game wears on and lacking some key contributors, I mean, fatigue might be a factor for the Frost.
Absolutely. You're going to have certain skaters having higher time on ice than usual. Zumwinkle leaving in the middle of the game throws everything for a loop for a coaching staff as they try to juggle lines and figure out who's going to fill those shoes. So there's a crack in the door here, Clay, for them, and they just got to find a way to kick it open.
They do have an extra skater tonight. Caitlin O'Donoghue is making her PWHL debut, but still, you know, she's a novice, so that factors in as well.
And when you take into account the bodies that are missing, it's the players that often lead the charge for the Minnesota Frost. So you're filling shoes with some players who could turn out to be stars like that, but just haven't had enough time to do so yet.
Budarak takes it wide. She got the first one tonight. Threw it to the middle, intercepted there by Shirley for Boston. Minnesota holds the zone. Under 14.5 to go. Minnesota riding a 2-0 lead. There's Shirley again. Taken off her stick there by Sheppers. Sheppers had the game winner in that Game 5 final. Back in the spring on the backhand. There's O'Donoghue making a bid for her first league goal.
That's going to be the other key piece, is a perfect period from Erin Frankel. They're going to need her to stop everything thrown her way. A nice drive to the net, lead with the shoulder, and toss it in on Frankel. Facing some pressure from Maloney.
Centered, knocked away, and McQuigg marches it back to neutral ice for Minnesota. Thompson playing keep away there from Amanda Pelkey. Agia tries to come in for Boston. Kept away from her. Player goes down in a heap and slow to get up. That is Emily Brown. The play continues.
It's kind of hard to tell from our angle, Clay, along the half wall.
At least right now, Zumwinkle started the game for Minnesota. There's a lot of sickness going around for the Frost. Coming up on the 7-minute mark of the third. Puck comes out in front of Hensley. This is Keller, a drive. Good look for Keller. Rebound, and it's Hillary Knight. Scoring the first one for Boston again. The captain getting the Fleet on the board and cutting the Minnesota lead in half.
Well, when in doubt, look to your leaders, and Hillary Knight. Her 4th goal of the season, leads the team. She's been off to such a great start this year. Great keeping at the point there. And then Knight bangs home that rebound. Hensley was out for the count. Was able to make the first save, couldn't make the second. And Boston got what they needed. They're on the board now, just a 1-goal game.
That's exactly what Courtney Kessel's team needed. Absolutely had to have the next goal. 4th of the year for Knight comes at the 7:05 mark of the third. So plenty of game left. And this one hangs in the balance.
Boston goal scored by number 21, Hillary Knight, assisted by.
We've talked a lot about the health of the Minnesota Frost right now, or the lack thereof, I should say. Talking to Courtney Kessel, you said, "Hey, coach, how's the health of your team?" She said, "Great." You said, "No issues?" Nope.
Yeah.
So it's the exact opposite for the Boston Fleet. Everybody's feeling good. Everybody's healthy. And this is sometimes the kind of game where you would maybe call it a quote-unquote scheduled loss, where you just have so many players down and you kind of shrug your shoulders and say, well, it's probably not going to happen tonight. But Minnesota, a chance to do something special here, down a lot of players if they can hang on.
Hannah Brandt pinned up against the wall. Puck rolls to the near wing side. At the point, Bard plays it in deep for Boston. Channel wraps it around the boards, and nobody home for the Fleet on the near wing side. Bard's going to have to regroup back in her own end. Coming up on 7 minutes to go. Bilka through the middle. Ahead for Knight. Knight now with 4 goals on the year. Problem for Boston in the other 3 games that she has scored. It's been the only goal that Boston has scored, and they hope that's not the case here tonight as Hensley will hold on. Boy, this was huge for the captain. What a star Hillary Knight is, and she's got Boston back in this one in Minnesota. It's been physical tonight at the X. And we've seen some penalties. We've seen both teams on the power play multiple times. And, you know, we would anticipate that that's going to carry out through the remainder of this hockey game here tonight. Minnesota's lead, though, now just 1 goal.
Well, and the physicality benefits a team like Boston who likes to play that way. Minnesota wants to try to push the pace. Boston likes to push the body around. And now just a 1-goal game, and kind of feels like it's anybody's game again. It felt like Minnesota for a while there had their foot on the gas and took charge, especially here at home. But Hillary Knight, the captain, gets the team back in it. And a whole lot of time left for something to happen still.
Courtney Kessel told her team, you know, keep it simple. Don't overthink it. And I wonder if they're keeping that in the back of their mind as they win this draw. Got to have some new energy now as they're within 1. Maloney in behind the Minnesota net. Trying to get it to Shirley. Pass Bard. She's going to have to retreat. Race for the puck. Look out. Here comes Coyne Schofield. Looking to center. Nobody there for Minnesota. Trailing on the play was Kava, but she was late to the party.
That's the problem with being too fast, is nobody can keep up with you.
That's right. Now Boston on the attack. This one flips up over the top of the net. As Bilka went sliding into the cage. And now Coyne Schofield with all kinds of room. Coyne Schofield a shot. Save, rebound. Nobody there. Frankel able to keep it out of the net. Boy, usually that spells disaster when Kendall has that much real estate. Here's Knight now. She'll flip it in, and a line change for the Fleet.
It's not the player you want racing to a loose puck in the offensive zone. And the only good part about it for Boston was that she didn't have a great angle, so she does get the shot off, but Frankel makes the save. A couple good sequences by Kendall Coyne Schofield there as we get a whistle. And a hooking penalty.
Let's see what this is all about.
Well, based on the shoulder shrugging of some of the Boston players, I'm guessing it's on them.
So here's a look at the penalty, and this is going to be a hooking call against Sophie Shirley, former Badger great. And so Minnesota is going to get another power play, their 5th of the night, another Royale Tiger Towel paper towel power play. Looking at 9:27. Minnesota wins the draw. There's Cole, sends it down, and McQuigg with the rebound goal. Brooke McQuigg right on the doorstep where Ken Klee loves to have her on the power play, and the 24-year-old rookie makes it 3-1.
What a play out front. Her first power play goal of the season, second overall goals in 2 straight games now. Coming off that game against the Victoire where she was the second star of the game. The shot fired off the chest of Frankel, and the Quig camped out front, finds this loose puck. And she was in behind the defenders and was able to put it home. Kind of a tough shot. She was a little handcuffed by it and was in so tight that she just couldn't really get a good windup on the shot, but she's able to put it up and over Erin Frankel. And that's exactly what Minnesota needed, a quick power play goal. I didn't even have time to bring up the point that
Minnesota goal.
When you get 4 power plays, that was Minnesota's 5th, you expect to score about once in every 4 power plays is what's acceptable. They were going on their 5th power play without a goal yet and barely even any shots. So they get that much needed power play goal, and they find some more separation here against Boston.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker for Boston. Assist from Curl and Thompson. 9:35 on the power play. And I harken back to that conversation we had with the Minnesota coaching staff about the newcomers. And when it came to McQuigg, they said goal front. And that's what we've been seeing from her, especially as she gets her legs under her here in her rookie year.
And she's had a really good game here too, and is now rewarded with that power play goal, and not a good penalty for Boston to take, an offensive zone penalty, which will just make a coach scream, and they pay the price for it.
Pasheva nearly turned it over to the side of the Boston net. Minnesota gets to it. Steckline sends it down. Panic tried to steer it toward the goal mouth. And now Boston able to clear it back to neutral ice. Kava now gets it on the near wing. She'll march toward the net. Pulls up. Tries to steer it to the middle. Good pass. Shepard's down low for Coyne Schofield, and she was neutralized out in front. And now here's Hillary Knight coming through the center ice part of the sheet, and now down low for Thompson, who plays keep away for a moment. 8:40 to go. Minnesota with a 2-goal lead again.
And in only 2 games this season has Minnesota scored less than 3 goals. One of those was that 2-1 win against Boston. So they continue their scoring ways.
Here's Shepers. Good back check by the Fleet. Rattray and Warren getting back there to knock that one away. Mueller slides it to the Minnesota Frost line. Shepers kind of fanned on a dump-in attempt. Tied up. And it comes to the stick of Emily Brown. Shannon Watkins gets it back for Flaherty. Under 8 minutes to go now. Boston with a sense of urgency for sure.
Boston has not won a game yet this season when they've allowed 3 or more goals.
This is Pelkey holding. Flips it down low. Save made by Hensley. Tried to get a glove on it and get the whistle, but couldn't.
Pelkey, by my count tonight, has had 4 grade A chances for the Boston Fleet. She's having herself a game. Maybe that's the kind of player you can look to get you back in late here. Having a good start to her career in the Professional Women's Hockey League here as well.
Bard trying to keep it inside that blue line. Too hot to handle for Pashova. And shove it out of play with 7:15 to go. Brooke McQuigg makes it 3-1 Frost. They've had trouble scoring the last 2 seasons. Finished last in the league in goals a season ago. Just 50 all of last season and 13 this year through 7 games. So, a 2-goal deficit with under 7 minutes to go. It's really a tough uphill battle for the Fleet right now.
But I think that's what impresses me about this Boston team is even last season when things weren't going their way.
Now as they scramble out in front, Mueller is right there. Hensley keeps it out. They're still dangerous high in the slot. Pasheva whistles one off the plexiglass. Go ahead, Alexis, if you want to finish your thought.
Yeah, even when things weren't going their way, they still made it all the way to that Walter Cup final. So they found ways to get it done last season. It's not working so far this season. And it's just tough when you're relying on 2 goals to win you games time and time again. Especially when there's teams in the league that can put up 3, 4, 5 goals a game. It's really tough business to work in.
It's been a conundrum for Coach Kessel and her staff, because there's so much talent out on the ice. And, you know, Alina Mueller, you get the feeling, Alexis, that she's maybe the key to all of this. Shusheva steps in over the blue line. Long shot. Frankel left the rebound out there. It's swept away. Austin gets to the line, but Curl hammers it back down in. Minnesota with the line change. 5.5 to go. 3 points if you win in regulation. And Minnesota, if they can get that, put them in first place. A win of any kind, even getting to overtime and winning, that would be 2 points, and that would also put them in first place.
And Montreal, the team at the top of the standings right now, most recently took down each of these teams. So both these teams have fallen victim to the Victoire in recent days.
Backhand. Timberlova had it blocked. Boston sends it airborne, bounces back into the Minnesota end. As we go under 5 minutes to play, that's going to be an icing, so a faceoff coming back in front of Frankel.
And that's frustrating as a goaltender when you feel you're doing the right things and not getting the results.
Steckline's shot was blocked by Sydney Bard, and Bard is hobbled. She is buckled in pain, trying to play through this shift. Number 15 in white, gutting it out. She took a blast from Lee Steckline, and she's got a powerful shot. Not really an offensive defender, but a heavy shot. And Bard took that one right in the breadbasket. Now she's going to march it back to center. I'm sure she's going to try to get to the boards as soon as she can. There she goes. Boston needs the next one.
Gutsy job by Bard to finish that shift. It's not easy to do.
Anna Bilka takes it wide. Now feeds it back. Pasheva shot skipped wide of the net. He's along the wall, and now Tapani goes down hard, and that's Steckline, and I think that's going to be a penalty. Lee Steckline drove Susanna Tapani, her former teammate, down to the ice. And Steckline's going to get a penalty. Back in a moment. PWHL Takeover Tour. Limited tickets are available, so go get yours today.
This one could cause some trouble here. Up 2 goals late in this third period. Boston going to be desperate for something.
Another Royale Tiger Towel, paper towel power play. Minnesota protecting a 2-goal lead. And Boston, you know, the power play numbers are good, Alexis, but last 2 games, 0 for 7 on the power play. This is their 3rd attempt tonight. Tapani carries it in, slides down after losing an edge. Puck goes airborne. Minnesota trying to play it, and a backhand, they score. Tapani. It was turned over right in front of the Minnesota net, and Susanna Tapani, the former Frost player, makes Minnesota pay, and look out, we've got a 1-goal game. Tapani was kind of on the schneid, too. That's got to feel good for Susanna. The 3-time Finnish Olympian has made this one interesting late, so we're back to 5-on-5. That's unassisted for Tapani at 16:43.
That was assisted by Claire Thompson, turning the puck over to her.
2-on-2, Boston carries in. Here's Shopsall, held up. Now Keller, a long shot. Chopped out of the zone by Minnesota. Keller again, feeds it in deep. 2:40 to play.
And is anyone surprised it's a 1-goal game, Clay?
No. Pretty accustomed to that in this league, and especially between these two. Here's Tapani again, feeling good. She scores! Mercy! Susanna Tapani has taken the fleet on her back here in the 3rd period, and now we're even at 3.
Well, Coach Kessel was looking for somebody to step up to help supplement the scoring that Hillary Knight has provided for this team, and Susanna Tapani with 2 quick ones. Minnesota's
Less than a minute apart. Tapani has tied it up. How does Minnesota respond? 2:15 to go.
Boston goal scored by
Lead pass to
number
Coyne
77,
Schofield. Chopped away from her at the Boston blue line.
Assisted by number
Minnesota skated with
55,
the lead ever since scoring that first goal back in the second period. So now a real test here to see what they do, all tied up at 3 apiece.
Loose at the logo at center. Curl tried to advance it, but the double team picked her up nicely. Bilka plays it over for Rattray. Keller supports the puck. Picked off there by Curl. Gains the Boston zone. Now Tapani got it back out. A minute and a half to go. 90 seconds left in regulation.
Before tonight, Minnesota only allowed 4 goals in the third period all season.
Tapani sweeps it in one more time. There's Bilka, the rookie. She fell down. She wasn't pushed. And turns it back over to Minnesota.
She lost her edge back there.
Up along the wall. Hillary Knight trying to keep it in the zone for Boston. They're playing rink wide here for Tapani. Tapani, a lot of ice time here late. It's paid off for the Fleet.
1 minute.
Just inside the blue line. DiGirolamo juggling the puck. Coyne Schofield trying to free it from her. Slides all the way back down into the Fleet end. Under 50 seconds to go. Here's Thompson. Rolls it in behind the Boston net. And now Hannah Brandt will charge it back for the Fleet. Bounces through everybody, and that's going to be an icing ball. So a big-time face-off.
Face-off will be to the left of Frankel. We'll see what Minnesota can do here.
Off the draw, controlled by Boston. Half minute to go. Thompson throws it down at the blue line, picked up. DiGirolamo will fire it in. Bookbinder gets there for Minnesota. 18 seconds to go. Muffled shot. Taken away in the slot by Minnesota. Here's Himralova coming. Got it ahead. Budarak. 7 seconds to go. Budarak backhand. Didn't get through to the target. Couple of seconds left on the clock, and we are headed to overtime. A furious comeback by the Boston Fleet. As they tie it late, we're going to OT. 5 minutes, 3-on-3. Kelly Paddock. Hannah Bilka taking that draw. And we're underway in the OT. Played into the Minnesota end. Denisa Shisheva looking for her first point since the season opener. Will play it in. Out of her net is Frankel. Whips it over to the near wing side where Keller will go rink wide for Tapani. Tapani, nice pass just out of the reach of Bilka. So much open ice for these world-class players. Love watching this style. So much fun, so much free-flowing hockey here in the OT. Keller to the slot. Knight drive, Hensley. The rebound left out there, and Knight will pounce on it again. Good save by Nicole Hensley. Alina Mueller. Did she get her first of the year? Mueller circling. Plays it off DiGirolamo. Out in front, intercepted by Coyne Schofield. Now Thompson will try to move it out. 3:50 to go in the overtime. Puck loose along the near wall in the Minnesota zone. It's Bilka, the rookie, getting to him. Curl trying to check her off the puck. Minnesota clears the zone. Tapani will regroup on her side of the blue line.
And finally, Minnesota will get some fresh skaters out there after the back-to-back icing calls.
It's a team that is short-handed and looks a little tired right now. Good pass, Coyne Schofield to Kava. Kava stone. What a save by Frankel.
What a play, what a save. That was beautiful. That's what you love about 3-on-3 OT hockey.
Here they come again. Coyne Schofield trying to beat Kava one more time. Loose, Kava jams at it. Chopping away, and finally the whistle. Holy crow.
Well, I like what Coyne Schofield was trying to do on that second chance. Let's take a look at that
Himralova out of her reach. Boston has it now with Alina Mueller starting it back the other way for the Fleet. 2:35 to go in the OT.
Alina Mueller scored the overtime goal against Minnesota in Game 4 at the XL Energy Center of the Walter Cup Finals.
Boy, she sure did. A lot of disappointed people at purple that night. Poke check there by Hensler. Right back to Mueller. 2:15 to play in the OT. Here's Knight again. Knight misplayed the puck. And there's Lee Steckline with that long twig of hers. Gets it ahead. Here's Himralova. 2-on-1 if they hurry. Himralova backhand. Hit the side of the mesh.
Love the hustle by Steckline to bust to the net there. Looking for her first points of the season. Great shift by her in overtime.
Both teams are tired. You can see it. Knight scanning. Gets it back. 1:45 to go. Here's Hannah Brandt, the former Gopher. Waits for help. Flips it to the middle, and it's picked off there. Coyne Schofield got it back out to center. Bouncing puck at the Boston blue line. And Shishova tried to move around Payshova. She stood her ground. 1:20 now to go. There's Brandt again right in front of her own bench. Payshova lurking in the slot. Brandt steers around, takes it back to the top. Just over a minute to go. Here's Rattray. Rattray has to come back to the checkered line. He'll dump it in with a minute to play.
Good pressure by Natalie Bookbinder there to force that play out of the zone. Got a loose stick in the Minnesota end of the ice, right in the slot.
Here comes Coyne Schofield with speed. Thompson to the center. One timer. What a blast there by Britta Curl. Coyne Schofield tied up. Loose puck. Oh, Bilka throws down Coyne Schofield. No whistle. Officials letting him play. Here's Thompson now. Had it knocked away. Back out at center. Some boos from the Minnesota fans. 2-on-1. Keller had broken up by Thompson. What a play by Claire Thompson. Now here's Curl with Britta. Britta Curl coming in. Shot. Scores. It's over. Britta Curl with the game winner in overtime. 4-3. Minnesota wins it.
Kendall Coyne Schofield gets that puck up ahead. And Britta Curl with the little deke to put it home. What a game she had today. She got pushed around. She did some pushing. And just past the outstretched leg of Erin Frankel, Minnesota salvages a win here after giving up the lead late in regulation. They find a way to get it done.
Back-to-back games with a goal for Britta, and how about Nicole Hensler? Great job in nets tonight. Boston with a furious comeback, but they lose it in OT. The Sirens will be here on Saturday to take on the Minnesota Frost. That's our next PWHL broadcast. We hope you can join us for that. For Alexis Pearson, Katie Storm, I'm Clay Matvick. Minnesota 4, Boston 3 in St. Paul tonight. So long, everybody.